You just got your orders and you are PCSing to Hawaii and you're going to be stationed at Schofield Barracks and you're wondering where it is. We're actually going to talk about that in this video. We're not just going to talk about where it is, right? Because you can look at a map and you can quickly identify that. So we're just going to show you where it is, but we're also going to give you a lot more context as far as where it is in relevance to Waikiki, Honolulu, the Triple Army Medical Center, which is the military hospital. And not only that, the areas around, if you're looking at off post, right? Maybe you're deciding on post, off post. We're going to talk about the communities on and around and near Schofield Barracks right now. What's going on? Welcome to the Living in Hawaii channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about what it's like to live in Hawaii, what it's like to eat, sleep, play, breathe, the up, down, left, and right, everything that you need to know if you're thinking about making that move out here to Hawaii, or you just got your orders and there's no thinking about it, you're doing it because the military said so and you need some assistance. And with that, you can absolutely reach out. People reach out all the time and we absolutely love it. And you can do the same thing too. You can send us a text. You can schedule your own Zoom appointment with us down in the description below. You can send me an email. You can slide in my DMs. You can follow me on Instagram and look at all the beautiful stuff that I do in Hawaii. A lot of scenic stuff on there. However you want to get a hold of us though, we got your back when moving to Hawaii. Again, if you are new here, right, this channel is all about what it's like living here. If you're not new here, welcome back. Make sure you all hit the like button. It helps anybody else be able to find this information. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell so that you get notified anytime that I upload a new video on this channel. Answering your original question, which is where is Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, right? Which is in the middle of Oahu, but let's go ahead and really identify where that is. So as we come around the world, because Hawaii is out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we have 8 major islands. Schofield Barracks is located on the island of Oahu, or as most of you know it as Honolulu. Honolulu is actually the county. And then when we dive deeper into where Schofield is, it's actually more central on the island. So to the west of Schofield Barracks, you're gonna have the Waianae Mountain Range, right? To the north, you're gonna have North Shore or Haleiwa Town. Heading a little bit more south, that's when you're gonna get to the horseshoe at the bottom, which is our Pearl Harbor port of entry, right? And then if you head east, that's when you're gonna have Waikiki and all these things. We're gonna talk a lot more about those, but to identify where Schofield Barracks is, it's gonna be more, or in the center of the island, and it's going to be near a town called Wahiawa. And you've also got Wheeler Army Airfield over there too. So maybe you're getting stationed at Schofield, maybe you're getting stationed at Wheeler Army Airfield. They're both right there in the center of the island. This one is going to be talking about reference points and where it is that you may be spending your time. Is we're going to identify some areas, and we're going to go ahead and start off with Honolulu, right? When we're talking about Honolulu, again, the island of Oahu is Honolulu County, and most people just kind of know, they don't even know that it's Oahu, and that they just kind of refer to it as Honolulu, which is fine, because you're not wrong, because it's Honolulu County. We're talking about the Honolulu City, which is down there on the southern shores, but the southeastern shores over there, downtown Honolulu. It's going to be about a 30-minute drive from Schofield Barracks. Typically, you're going to take the H2, which is Highway 2, because we have a 3-highway system, H1, 2, and 3. Pretty simple. H2 runs from the center, or where the port is, or the horseshoe at the bottom, and then straight up to North Shore, but that's going to be H2. So you're going to take H2 south, and then you're going to hit H1, which goes from east to west around the southern portion of the island. Then you're going to hit H1, and you're going to head east into Honolulu. This is roughly a 30-minute drive, give or take the time frame of when you're leaving. Because if you're going if you're going into traffic, good luck. I was at a inspection today. We were doing an inspection for a military service member who PCSed here, and he wanted to buy a condo over there, actually in Mililani. And he was in town. He told me he left town, which is Waikiki or near Ala Moana Mall, and it took him an hour to get from Ala Moana to Mililani because of an accident. One accident ruined traffic, and he was just in traffic for an hour trying to get to the inspection. And yeah, he was just like, oh my goodness. It's like, well, there's your first taste of it, of the bad traffic, right? Which I'm sure you've heard about. So it's gonna take you about a half hour-ish, depending, get to town. If there's an accident, then that could just ruin it all. So you gotta plan for those types of things. But when we talk about some other reference points too, so maybe you're being stationed at Schofield and you're thinking about living over on the east side in Kailua. That's going to put you roughly around a 45-ish minute drive one way. So now you're looking at an hour and a half if it's 45 minutes, right? You're going to an hour and a half of your day driving to and from work, which is most likely going to be more than an hour and a half because of traffic and other things that could potentially happen. Unless you're not running into traffic because of the opposite times of the day that it is that you're working. So if you have the regular morning schedule and you got to show up to PT and all those things in the morning, you're not really running into traffic driving from east to the center of the island or central Oahu. There's really no traffic, so roughly a 45-minute drive. Coming home, there could be some issues, but not typically for those time frames either. But so again, you're looking at 45-ish minutes. Another area that I do want to identify is the west side. There's an area, especially a little neighborhood called Sea Country, but if you're thinking about living over there on the west side, there's only one way in and one way out at the west side, and you have to go that way. So you're gonna have to basically come all the way down and around the bend, and then you're gonna hit H1, and then you're gonna come up, and this is gonna be roughly around a 35 to 45-ish minute, give or take, right? Because things can happen over there on the road too. I would say just plan for a 40-minute drive one way. So, 40 minutes going and then 40 minutes coming back. And then this is when you could actually end up running into some traffic. So, and you've always got to plan for gate traffic. So I just want to go ahead and point out a couple different areas for you and give you an idea of drive times if you're thinking about maybe living on the other side of the island. You start looking at Schofield, you're going to start looking at what's near Schofield. Maybe you're a gym fanatic like myself and you're trying to figure out where the nearest gym is. If it's not going on post, right, where else can you go and get that maybe early morning workout before PT, or you want to hit it during lunch, or maybe even after work, right? If you're looking at maybe where it is that you can eat and grab lunch near Schofield, all these things. So what is near Schofield? Schofield is in the town or near Wahiawa. Wahiawa is the town over there, and then right near Wahiawa, Mililani is roughly 10 minutes away, give or take. Not too bad, right? Mililani and Wahiawa are the nearest towns. Most people will go to Mililani, and their own homework is really the reason why, which you definitely need to do your own homework too when you're talking about Wahiawa versus Mililani. But Mililani is that town. There's three shopping centers in Mililani. You've got Mililani Malcaside. We actually have a vlog tour where I take you all through Mililani, Malcaside, Townside, the shopping centers, everything there is to do in Mililani on this channel. There's a vlog tour that you can check out. But Mililani is going to be that hot spot or that town that is closest to Schofield where a lot of people, military service members, like to frequent. Now, let's talk about some of the other areas in the immediate vicinity. So, well, they're not really in the immediate vicinity, but if you head about 25 minutes north, you're going to head North Shore. You're going to run right into Haleiwa, Wailua. If you head south, then you'll be heading more towards Mililani, and then just south of Mililani, you got Waipio, then you got Waikele, and then you got Kunia. If you're heading west, if you're heading east, then you got Pearl City, Aiea, lots of different areas, but a lot of this is really relative too, because again, the base, and we're on such a small island, not everything is really like that far, right? We're not talking necessarily 2-hour drives to get somewhere, but those are the things that are immediately near Schofield. And if you're looking for that gym like we talked about, so for instance, Mililani has a 24-hour fitness, and Mililani also has a UFC gym right over there. UFC gym is in the Mililani Town Center shopping center. And then the 24-hour fitness is over there by Ross. So it's like right next door to a Ross, and there's a really good place to eat called Blazing Steaks too that has like healthy options. It's really good, but you gotta check that one out too. Of course, one of the biggest questions, if you're eligible to live off post and get BAH while you're out here, which we have a BAH calculator on our website, but if you're looking to live off post, then you're kind of debating, right? Should we live on post? Should we live off post? Well, let's talk a little bit about on-post housing. On-post housing for Schofield Barracks is managed by Island Palm Communities, and Island Palm Communities is the one that you're going to have to go online and apply with. I don't work for Island Palm Communities, so there's nothing that I can really do to help you with that. You just kind of go to their website and apply, or you can give them a call and ask about their wait list. Last I heard, as of me recording this, was that there is a very long wait list for Island Palm Communities. As of me recording this as well, we are also, so January of 2022, we're also dealing with a little water crisis out here, and a lot of on-post housing, not necessarily Schofield, but AMR housing and housing down there near Red Hill and Pearl Harbor has been affected by basically fuel being spilled into the water source, which is not good. So housing is a little bit backed up, and there's a whole, you can look all that up in the news if you'd like to, and you can read more about it. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody or anything like that. I'm just making you aware of what's going on with on-post housing and those types of things. The other thing you may need to consider if you have a dog is there's breed restrictions for on-post housing. They have a list of the breeds that may just go ahead and nix that whole idea for you if your dog is a breed that is on that list. But on-post housing managed by Island Palm Communities, again, I don't work for them, but you can call them and reach out to them and see what kind of weight they have if you are thinking about considering on-post housing. Now, if you're considering living off-post, then you're going to be looking into some areas. So one of the biggest questions or concerns when we have our Zoom calls and we're talking to people PCSing out here, we always ask, this is probably one of the biggest questions: how close do you want to be to work? Is proximity to work important to you as far as drive times go? Because as like we've talked about with some of these other areas, you may want to live out there, and 45-minute drive time may not sound bad now, but when you're doing it every day for your next 3 or 4 years, however long your tour is here, then this is something that you're going to probably rethink. Not saying it's not bad. There's people that do it all the time. We actually just helped a military service member who PCSed out here, and he ended up purchasing a home on the west side, beautiful home on the west side, and he didn't mind the drive. But it is one of the biggest questions that we hit on. And so that's why I wanted to bring up the areas that are military, family-friendly communities. Lots of military do live in these areas, and you will definitely notice that. But we're going to go ahead and check some of these out on the map. Areas to really take note of. So you may want to grab pen and paper, or you may want to pause it after each one that I mentioned so that you can say, okay, I remember him he said this one, or to go watch videos on his channel about this one, because this one I kind of like, right? But these areas that we're going to identify, so we've already talked about Wahiawa, and we've already talked about Mililani. Both of those are centrally located on the island near Schofield Barracks and Wheeler Army Airfield. Those are going to be the closer to base options. Again, I've already talked about both of those, but Mililani being the hotspot, the more sought after location. One of the big reasons for that. Not only does it give you sort of the most mainland suburb feeling when we were talking about living in an area, but the school district. For you families out there, Mililani, top to bottom, has some of the best public education per school ratings, online public data that you can go do your due diligence and check out on the island. You got some of the best schools just to as far as ratings go and public knowledge and data is Mililani school system, Theodore Roosevelt, and then you've even got the Aikahi district over there. Kaneohe Kailua is pretty relevant and very high up there. But going and looking at some of these other areas, right, that are closer or options where military families do end up living. If you head north, which we talked about the H2, if you head north up there to Haleiwa Wailua, that's going to put you 25 to 35-minute drive-ish, depending. And that's going to be beautiful area up there. It is more old school town. So when you go to Haleiwa, they call it historic Haleiwa, and it is just older town. Like your cell phone service just isn't as good. Your radio stations are going to start cutting out. But some people like to live up there because they, just want to be near the beach. They love the style, the vibe, the old school vibe, and they want to be really, really close to the beach up there in Wailua. If we head a little bit more south, a couple of the areas I want to identify for you that a lot of military do end up living or like to live. And this is going to put you roughly around a 25 to 35-minute drive, again, depending on traffic and gate traffic and those types of things. But on the west side, or that southwestern corner, first we're going to go ahead and drop a pin on Kapolei. Kapolei is what's known as the second city. A vlog tour on this channel if you want to go check out Kapolei, where I take you everywhere up the Makakilo Hill. Makakilo is in Kapolei. And we're going to go ahead and identify Ewa Beach. Ewa Beach is down there, again, near sort of the Pearl Harbor port, or Mamala Bay, But Ewa Beach is going to be one of these other areas. More newer and more modern homes are going to be found in Kapolei and Ewa. Ewa actually has a brand new home community, so does Kapolei. But Ewa Beach has a brand new home community called Ho'opili. And people are looking for the newer, more modern style of living instead of the older 1970s, 1960s homes that look like they're just going to fall over. So those aren't the only areas, right? But those are areas that I know really, really talk to a lot of people. We talk to so many soldiers moving out here. And these are the areas that they end up identifying as places that they want to look at homes in when they get here, to really get a feel for those communities and those styles, but also to get a feel for that drive to base. So those are some of the areas that I wanted to identify for you, and maybe you can start doing some home search on our website and seeing what kind of homes that they have to offer and the price ranges. We've identified where Schofield Barracks is. We've talked about on-post housing. We've talked about off-post housing. We've talked about gyms near Schofield Barracks for you gym fanatics. But that is going to do it for this video. If you are PCSing out here to Hawaii, don't forget that you can reach out to me, myself. I'm a veteran. I've been there, done that, PCSed. I know what your family's going through. I know how stressful it can be. And I want to help alleviate that stress and make this more of a seamless process for you. All right, so don't forget, you can reach out, you can send me a text, you can send me an email, you can follow me on Instagram, you can slide in my DMs, you can schedule your own appointment with us using the link down in the description below. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to Hawaii. If you've already made it this far and you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit that like button. It helps anybody else be able to find this information. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified anytime that I upload a new video on this channel. I've talked about all these areas that you may want to consider, right? And we can talk about these on our call as well. But I've got the blog posts of these communities, and those are going to pop up for you right now.